I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Bleav in Colts podcast.
What's going on, Colts Nation, NFL fans, sports fans? This is Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guys Jerraud Powers and Rodney McLeod. Guys, it was a great week in sports to sit and watch. A lot of good football games, some interesting stuff in other sports that has happened, and I'm going to jump right into it, Rodney. Jerraud, I got questions for both of you. You got the green Poole incident that happened during a practice. Do you have any words that either one of you want to talk about when it comes to how he just walked up and did what he did?
Yeah, I was very surprised to see that clip. I think when you saw the report that came out, I don't think any of us envisioned that it was going to turn out to be that way. We were all thinking it's a general scuffle, you know what I'm saying, something of that magnitude, but never a full-blown, you know what I'm saying, Mike Tyson jab, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I feel like it's, inexcusable. And it was uncalled for. And so when you're now having a lot of conversations about what do you think transpired, what did they say to make him react in that way, to have that level of response, because that's a teammate, somebody that you won a championship with, you spend a lot of time with, especially in the NBA. I think they might spend a lot more time than we do as football players, but to see him, strike him in the way that he did, I don't know how you move forward, from that, to be honest, and try to rekindle that relationship, and that team camaraderie, like what that does. And the season hasn't even started. We're talking about this preseason, and that went down. So I think that the Warriors, man, they're going to be in a tough space with figuring out how do they move forward, how do they get those two gentlemen on the same page, or whether they ultimately have to remove somebody. And in that case, who do they choose? You know what I'm saying? Do they choose the vet, who's been there and established the championship culture, or do you go with the new breed and with Jordan Poole, who's proven that he is a player that can play? And I don't know where you go from here, but that was my first time seeing something like that, and it's talk of the town right now.
I just want to remind everybody that football's back at Bet Online and remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. As your continued source for all your sports wagering info, Bet Online features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet Online, where the game starts. Jerraud?
Man, yeah, I thought the video definitely wasn't a good look from an organization standpoint. Stuff happens in practice. Practice can get competitive. I know, like, as football players, we see fights every day at practice, especially in training camp, but it's almost expected. So you don't really see like the big, complaints or people concerned. I mean, as football players, you got on pads, helmets, punches get thrown and all that, and nobody really treats it like a big deal because, like I said, it kind of feels expected in training camp. So when it happens in basketball, we're not used to seeing it. So when you see it for the first time, it's just like that shock value. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. When you go across the league, I bet it's several teammates that might get into fights. It might not be as that bad to where you almost get sucker punched a little bit, but I'm pretty sure several scuffles in training camp, just like in other sports. I mean, we gotta kind of think they are in training camp. You know how it is when grown men get competitive and everybody want to win. You start talking a little bit, but it looked embarrassing on Draymond's part because you would think that he would be able to handle, some trash talking if that's what it was, just because that's the cloth he's cut from. He's been the one that always was the trash talker to try to get under people's skin. That was part of his DNA. That's part of his game. So to see him kind of not handle that situation a little bit better, that's what makes it look ugly. I think if it was Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson, we wouldn't be as shocked. I guess I don't think I guess the narrative of it, I think, would be a little different. But the fact that it's Draymond and he has a certain narrative about himself, I think it kind of hits a little different, and that's what makes it look so ugly. Because it's like, damn, Draymond, like you're cut from that same cloth, and you can't handle a little trash talking. So it looks bad. But I'm with you, Rodney. I don't think that I don't know how you can come back from it. I mean, when you're talking about team sports, chemistry is like the main thing. You can have the best players in the world on your team. If the chemistry's not there, it's not going to work. And everybody knows Golden State's that's kind of how they built to get to where they're at, off team chemistry, the way that they play the game, and all those things. Culture, it's been built on the chemistry foundation. So I don't know how you get back from it, but they are a veteran organization that have been through a lot, won a lot of championships. So maybe they can resolve. But I mean, when you're talking about the bottom line, both of them are due max contracts, so you never know. It might be like Rodney said, you might have to choose one or the other. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, as Rodney said, this happens all the time. Jerraud, you said it. It happens all the time in the NFL, right? I mean, just a couple of years ago, Pittsburgh, Earl Thomas. I think it was no, Baltimore with Earl Thomas, and they chose. Earl was thrown off the team. From what I remember, it's kind of basically what happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think because, as Jerraud said, a lot of what happens obviously on the field, right? And now this controlled, I guess, somewhat environment, helmets might be on. You rarely see, where the us as players get a clean punch thrown like to the chin, right? Without the helmet on. Like, that is rare. And what you're pointing to is Earl Thomas. I Bleav that's what happened. It was something that transpired on the sidelines, right?
Mm.
And I think when it goes to that level of extremity, then you have to take kind of action, right? And I think the organization's hand is kind of forced, right? Like, where do you go from here? Because we're prideful individuals, man. We're men, and then we're athletes on top of that, and it's like Jerraud said, man, that for that clip to get out, it's embarrassing on both parties, right? Draymond for, I'm sure the guy he is, the reputation he has as a leader, you hate to see that. But then on the other side of Poole, being the victim in the situation, and having to live with that now, and endure all the comments and the jokes that come with it, man, like, you can't walk back in there in that locker room, man, and not feel like you have to get something off your chest, if you're Poole as a man. And every day, and I heard his lockers next to him, like, come on. Like, I don't know where you go from that. And like, it's that saying, you might forgive, but you never forget. And you don't know when Jordan Poole is liable to react, because of the history, now that's formed. So I don't know.
Thank you for watching Jerraud Powers and I here on Bleav in Colts, part of the Bleav Podcast Network. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you're notified next time we upload a video or go live. And don't forget, you can hit that little red share button. Help us out a lot with exposure and getting our stuff out to more fans. Now, let's get back to the video. Jerraud, if this was not caught on film, if this was just a report, does this get handled differently in a disciplinary standpoint, do you think?
No, I don't. I think if it never even got out, I think the Warriors would still be like it would have been some report coming out, hey, Draymond's left the team or Draymond's away from the team, and we would have just had to speculate on what's going on, but nobody would have just knew for sure. And that's how you want it to be. You'll hear the rumors, and some of the rumors normally are true, but if don't nobody stamp the rumors, it's just all speculation at the end of the day. So I still feel like that if the video didn't get out, the Warriors would still be handling this situation in the same manner that they're handling it now. So
Okay.
because when you do stuff like that, like it's beyond certain people's hands now. Like it's beyond Steve Kerr's hand. It's beyond like it's really up to the owner. What do you want to do? Do you want to keep him or do you want to do like it's beyond people's hands once they get to this part?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of, disciplinary action and players doing things a little out, last night after the Kansas City Raiders game, Devante Adams walking out off the field, the cameraman kind of walked in front of him, and Devante just shoved him straight to the ground, paused, and then walked on. But he did drop an apology, right? But is that too little, too late? What are your guys' thoughts on this?
See, my thing, like even Devontae's wrong. Don't get me wrong. You're wrong for pushing. Don't like and all that. I get it. But at that same token, you got to think of what a football player is going through emotionally after a big emotional loss like that. He probably, like, we can't see where he's looking totally, but Devontae wears a dark visor. I'm pretty sure he kind of had his head down walking towards, like, I've been in a close game to where we lost. It's a close one and you're walking towards the sideline. You're rarely not looking up, looking at the fan. Then this is an away game. He probably had his head down walking. He's mad. And just see somebody walk right across him. Your first initial reaction might be to push somebody when you're still in that emotional state. So I hate that the guy fell the way he did, but let's just say if the guy was able to continue to stay on his feet, I don't think that we would be talking about this right now. I just think that it looked worse than what the actual intent was, if that makes sense. Because when you see Devontae pushed him, he kind of paused for a second, like, damn, like, why did you walk in front of me? Then he kept it moving. So it wasn't like he was just this angry, violent football player that's running off the field because he's mad and he's throwing things. So it wasn't that. I think it was more so he probably head down, a lot of stuff going through his mind, just lost a wild finish. He had this incredible game. Just think about how they lost. Him and Hunter ran into each other on the last play of the game. So just think how emotional he is and what he's thinking about. And of course, security is walking right there with him. So he's not acting out or any way. I think his head was down and the guy literally walking right in front of him. And his initial reaction was to push. He just didn't think that he probably pushed him as hard as he did. And at the end of the day, that does look bad, but I don't think Devontae is like a bad guy at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think character like overrides, that moment, right? And we all know who Devante Adams is and what he's type of player he is, the respect level that you have. And you've never seen anything like that transpire. I mean, I think that was just a moment of an emotional moment for him, right? Where they are in their season. Record wise, a division game, and to lose the way that they did, he had two tough plays. One where he thought he had a catch, what I'm saying, and man, the toe tap was brilliant. Just a split second, right, of ball control, and he possesses that ball, and now we're talking about that never happens, right? What transpired at the end of that game. And then, as Jerraud said at the end, they run into each other. So the emotions are running high. And I think it's one of those situations where we, as a league, they have to do maybe a better job at understanding where the player is emotionally, right, in that state. And just maybe give a little more privacy, right, on the way back to the locker room. I know they're trying to capture every moment. That is the beauty about media, right? But maybe that's just not the right time. And of course, you have to respect Devontae's apology, for what he did. I'm sure he, immediately once he did it in that act, he knew it was the wrong thing to do, but nothing. I don't think it's anything to necessarily make a big deal about, but it just we're emotion, man, and I think times like that only make us we're humans at the end of the day. We play this sport, and I know we have a reputation to uphold and make sure that we are setting the right example. But and it's a learning material, and as I said, it only makes us human. And so I respect him apologizing, being a bigger man about that, and we move on.
So the reports on that is, that the NFL is overlooking this, and that they're looking over disciplinary action up to and including a suspension.
Oh,
Wow, that's, in my opinion, I don't think he should be suspended. I think there should be a fine, because it was wrong, right? I mean, he shouldn't have done it, but I don't think he should be suspended at all.
yeah, I think
Yeah, hopefully he won't get suspended. Hopefully he won't.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So moving on to more positive notes here, rather than talking about guys acting out physically in sports today. Let's talk about, there are 6 teams in the NFL right now that have a record of 4 or more wins. 3 of them are in the NFC East, Rodney. 3 of them. One of them, your former team, leads the NFL right now. Give us your thoughts about the Philadelphia Eagles currently being the only undefeated team in the league.
Man, they're playing great ball right now, clicking on all cylinders. That's what you see. And, they had a close game themselves this past week. The AC was blowing a little too much, man, I guess, in AZ in that dome. And they walked away with that win. But, man, it starts with the quarterback. My God, man, Jalen Hurts. Love that guy. Is a great leader, works extremely hard, man, and you're seeing the fruits of his labor. You know what I'm saying, and witnessing it this season. You could tell he's comfortable in the system with his guys around him. They have great running back, great old offensive line, which is helpful. And defensively, man, they're creating turnovers. So that's exactly what you want to see, to be honest. And it's the reason why right now they're sitting first in their division, first in the NFC. And it's still early, but can they withstand whatever's ahead? And they have a huge challenge this upcoming week, Sunday Night Football versus the rivalry Dallas Cowboys,
who are also in that list. Sorry.
Yeah, Dallas has been playing. No. NFC East has been, the NFC. What y'all say? The NFC least. The last however many years. But no, they're playing some good ball right now. But while you're talking about Philly, before the season started, how I forgot you asked me, Lawrence, about if you was a GM, how does it work or whatnot, and I was telling you about how it's like a big puzzle and you're trying to find all the pieces that fit. When you look at what Philly did this offseason and the moves they made defensively, offensively, the type of guys they brought in, their style of they play a certain style of football now when you watch them, and it fits the whole Philly culture. So when you say like the pieces that they brought in and all the things, like it seems like to be working out right now, that's what you see when you see Philly. Like you say, Jalen Hurts. You look at him as a quarterback, and then when you look at the other guys, it seems like it fits. Like that's the perfect leader for those type of guys. You got a good mix of young guys. You got a good mix of veterans. You got a good mix of, of it all. And it seems that they got that on both sides of the ball. So it's fun to watch Philly right now. And I'm not even a big Philly fan, but it's fun to watch him right now.
What about the Giants? How impressive going from what we've seen from the Giants the last few years to now where they're sitting at right now, and Danny Dimes playing some really good football.
I think he's doing a good job of having them boys play 4 quarters now. I don't think it's like they're doing anything special or, you look at them and it's just like, wow, they have all these weapons. They're just finding ways to grind out wins, whether it's no points being scored or whether you got to score some points. It just seems like they're finding ways to win. And that's the foundation of trying to build a culture when it comes to being on a football team. The first thing you want to build within your team is just grinding and find ways to win, whether it's ugly or whether it's pretty. And right now they won some games to where you're like, I don't know how in the hell the Giants keep winning these damn close games, but they're doing it.
Rodney?
Yeah. I think to Jerraud's point, like you said, man, they're comfortable with winning in any form and any style, to be honest with you. And it's nothing spectacular. You know, I had an opportunity to watch the game in London versus the Packers, and I'm sitting there. One, I picked the Packers to win that game, and two, as I'm watching it unfold, I'm saying, yeah, it's going to hold true. And next thing you know, I think I step away for some time. I look at my ESPN tracker, man, and I see that the Giants are now winning the football game. And I'm sitting there like, how is this possible? But like Jerraud said, man, they're playing 4 quarters of ball. And they aren't phased, right? I think that's the culture aspect. Back in the day, I'm sure a year ago, 2 years ago, you know, down maybe 10-0, a lot of those guys would put their heads down and say, all right, you know, we're facing Aaron Rodgers. There's no way, you know, we're coming back, right? It's the same old Giants. We're the same old team. It's only a matter of time. But right now, their mental strength and competitive toughness is up right now. And so when you have examples in games like this where you come out winning 12-10 or you come back from the Green Bay Packers, man, that does something for your team, and that creates this confidence that you need. And when it's contagious, and you just know at any point in time, you know, no matter what happens, we'll always give ourselves a chance to win. And I think Saquon Barkley is looking like Saquon of old. And it's great to see, you know, him coming off a ACL injury. I know all about it, and I'm glad to see him now back to running like himself. And he's a huge reason why they're having a lot of success right now.
Absolutely. As we come to the end of this episode covering just sports and the NFL in general, does anyone have anything they want to add to what was already been said for today? I take that as a no. All right. Well, I will tack on a little bit to what you guys said about the Giants and how they are playing right now. I remember last year something had, you know, really caught my eye, and it brought something that you said, Rodney. Last year, I remember watching a game, and I've said this on air a few times. I would watch that defensive line. The ball would be snapped. The game would be playing, and the entire defensive line would just be standing there with their hands on their hips at times. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, wow, that right there tells you the mental state of that team, you know, and you don't see that right now, to your point. You see them fighting 4 quarters. So that's really big. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. Please smash that like button and hit subscribe, download, obviously share to your favorite social media. And until next time, this was Bleav in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. That was Jerraud Powers and Rodney McLeod. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you Bleav?